What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Thank you guys for the support lately. Been popping off as always. You guys are crazy. So thank you guys for that. Keep it coming, joining that Discord. Love seeing all those new faces there. So welcome and thank y'all again. Now in today's video, I want to go over a nice little build that I'm going to be running with for some of the Guardian games here, especially when we got that stasis burn going on within certain playlists. Absolutely love this build, so we're going to give it a shot and show you guys what I'm rocking for my Warlock on the stasis side here. Now this right here I call the Mr. Freeze Special, or the Infinite Coldsnap Build, at least for me. Been loving running it since we got these new gauntlets this season with Witch Queen. Having those extra cold snaps is absolutely nuts. Building it with some elemental wells, it pairs perfectly together. So we're gonna go over everything here, show you some gameplay, and y'all get out there and freeze everything on the map. This also includes our new SMG that I substituted in. Instead of using, normally I would use the funnel web or the Ikelos, but this one right here has a special part to it, so we'll get into that as well. Starting off here, we're going to go over the super with our aspect and fragments. Now for this build, we're going to be using our Coldsnap Grenades because of those exotic gloves that we will be using. Now for aspects, we're going to be using Bleach Watcher, so we can get those turrets by holding and throwing these cold snaps, or using them as they are intended, making those direct impacts with our grenades and getting instant grenade back basically with our exotic gloves. And then on top of that, I'm going to pair it with Glacial Harvest, so freezing targets creates stasis shards around the frozen targets. That just comes into play based on some of our armor mods, so we're going to be collecting a lot of those stasis shards. For our fragments here, we have Conduction, so nearby stasis shards track to my position. That'll help with our Glacial Harvest. Next off right here, we have Whisper of Shards, so shattering stasis crystals temporarily boost your grenade recharge rate, and this is great because we're going to be freezing everybody around us with everything that we have here with the turrets and cold snap grenades. Next off, we have Whisper of Fissures, so increase damage and size of those stasis crystal bursts when you destroy them. So that helps because once again, everybody's going to be frozen on this map with the build. And then finally, Whisper of Torment, you gain grenade energy each time you take damage from targets. This just means that we're going to have grenades back even faster. Moving on to our weapons for this, we're pulling out the exotic Ager Scepter Trace Rifle, Stasis Kinetic here. So when we're freezing enemies with this, getting defeats, it puts out also a freezing to it. So just an extra way to create stasis crystals and then also freeze extra enemies. Plus with the catalyst and you consume your super, this thing does quite a bit of damage, and the continuous freeze is super nice. Now, like I said, I just added this into the rotation for my weapon. Usually I was using another SMG here, like I said, with either the Ikelos or funnel web, but since this right here has the Hake Breach Armaments perk as the original trait, this weapon deals increased damage against turrets, vehicles, barricades, and stasis crystals. So when we have those frozen targets and we want to do a little extra damage on those stasis crystals, boom, we pull out the SMG, let it rip, and it absolutely shreds through people. And for our heavy here, we have a couple different options. First off, we have the Palmera B. First off, because it's another stasis weapon, so that'll help with some of the mods that we have on our armor. Plus, again, it has the Hake Breach armament, so it's going to be doing more damage on those stasis crystals. Plus, with that explosive light, this thing is super great for DPS. Now, another great choice is actually the Zypher sword that we got from the Dawning last year. This right here has a perk called Cold Steel on it, so when you actually get Power Sword, it slows targets and creates stasis effect on them, and we can create more stasis crystals via this. So if you want to get up close and personal, the Stasis Sword is a great way to go. Now, the reason we're running those two different stasis weapons along with this super in general with cold snaps is because of the armor we have and our mods. So first off, we're going to have 100 recovery and 100 discipline, so we're going to get our grenades back even faster and be able to throw down our rift as fast as we possibly can due to the tier 100 stats here. Now, first off, on our helmet, we're just going to have Font of Might on, just because when we pick up Stasis Elemental Wells, it'll give extra damage to both our Ager Scepter and our energy weapon right here, whether it be our Cypher or our Palmera B. As long as it's a stasis weapon, Font of Might will kick in when you pick up Stasis Elemental Wells. Next off, we have the Osmiomancy gloves right here. This is what we're basing the entire thing around. So your Coldsnap Grenades have an additional charge, recharge faster on direct impacts, and increase Seeker travel distance. So these kind of tie in super well with the Cold Snaps. When you throw it and hit somebody directly, it recharges so fast. It's super crazy. And since you have two of them, you can hold one, throw it out as a turret. The next one, you can throw it at enemy, hit them directly, it'll freeze, track people farther than usual, refreeze somebody, and you basically get it back instantly. Plus, pairing it with everything we have also just gives us grenades back. Super snappy. Now, in addition, like I said here, we have grenade kickstarter, two of them. So when your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. So when we're throwing both of those, basically instant grenade energy back via that. And then also super important for this build, we have elemental shards, which has to go on a stasis burn. That's actually as well as the grenade kickstarter. So elemental shard here. Stasis shards count as stasis elemental wells. Now this is great because all those stasis shards that we're going to be creating via our shade binder and freezing enemies with our weapons and breaking it, and then also pairing that with our gloves, having that extra cold snap, all of those shards are going to count as elemental wells, which is perfect for picking it up, which refunds a little bit of our energy for those elemental wells. And then also we get Font of Might, where both our Ager Scepter and Palmera B will be doing more damage. Moving on to our chest piece here, we have some reserves for both our rocket and trace rifle, and then also elemental armaments. So when we defeat enemies with our Ager Scepter mostly, and then also either our Cypher or our Palmera B, it has chances of spawning elemental wells. So that'll be nice to an addition with the elemental shards that we have on our arms for those stasis shards. On our boots, we have another elemental armaments, so it just has a better chance to drop elemental wells from our Ager Scepter and Palmera kills. And then right here, bountiful wells, so we can stack both of these mods, because usually they wouldn't stack, but since we have bountiful wells on our class item here, we're able to stack two elemental armaments. Now also on our class item here, we have Bomber, so reduces grenade cooldown when using our class ability. Now that's why we have 100 recovery here, so we can throw down rifts all the time, which gives us grenade energy back as well. So it's basically the infinite grenade build for our Stasis Warlock here, and these gloves are absolutely nasty when you have that direct impact with the cold snap. It is an instant recovery. Now you can see in the background gameplay what I'm talking about here. We're mostly going to be using the Ager Scepter to freeze enemies as well, but you can throw grenades around like it's no one's business, freezing everything in your path. And when you do make that direct impact, as you can see, it goes super fast with the regeneration rate based on those Osmiomancy gloves that we are wearing. And then on top of that, when we cast our rift down, you can see how much energy we also get back with that being on Bomber with our class item. So it pairs super well with this build. I think the synergy is perfect between the weapons that we have, the super, and then also the mods. I am a super big nerd for the elemental wells, whether it is Void, Solar, Arc, or Stasis, and having that special Stasis mod on, that elemental shards, it is so nice being able to turn stasis shards into stasis elemental wells via that mod as well. So it's just crazy what you can see here. Everything is freezing, super fast to blow through this lost sector. This is where I show off all my builds here. And then, like I said, when you're Ager Scepter, your super is fully charged up. You can consume that super with an alternate reload on the Ager Scepter, and it just absolutely annihilates bosses and it freezes everything while reloading itself. It is a super crazy perk to have for the Catalyst. So if you don't have Ager Scepter, definitely suggest grabbing that if you can. But yeah, this build is absolutely nuts for the PvE realm, freezing everything in your path. Super good to throw this on for something like Grandmasters. When you need to switch it up, you can put on some other heavies so you can get those other burns. But this right here is a super great way to just have infinite basically Coldsnap grenades, turrets even, since we have Bleak Watcher on as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely check this build out. I know there's been other variations of it. This one right here is my personal take on it. Absolutely love it. Been running it a lot lately. And then, like I said, added the title SMG to it because it has that Hawkeye Breach armaments. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.